Dear friends, today we are going to tell you a story about the marriage of a princess and a beggar. Along with this, we will also explain why the king allowed his daughter to marry a beggar. To fully understand this story, make sure to watch the video until the end. You will understand the entire tale. Let's begin. Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there was a boy whose father was a beggar. Begging was the family profession. Initially, he used to beg along with his father in the markets. He would make a pitiful cry and beg from the passing travelers, saying, "Father, for God's sake, give me something. I haven't had enough to eat for 2 days." But gradually, as he got the hang of begging, he started going out on his own. Every morning, he would get up, wear the most ragged and dirty clothes, and head out to the markets. He would go to each person making a sad sound and stretching out his hand. Some would give him something, while others wouldn't. Whatever he earned by evening, he would place in his father's hands. But deep down, he didn't like this life. He often wondered why people looked at him with disdain. Why did they treat him like he wasn't human? Didn't he have hands and feet like others? But what could he do? He was born into a family of beggars and had no choice but to beg. He wasn't educated, and there was no way for him to earn a living through work. One day, he thought to himself that he would run away from his father and move to another city. There, he could live the life he wanted, because living like this in his current city was impossible. As soon as this thought entered his mind, he felt a little less anxious. He continued begging until he reached the royal palace. Seeing so many people entering, he too joined the crowd and managed to get inside. The hall was magnificently decorated, with chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. All the people gathered in 2 lines. He quietly stood in his place, and no one said anything to him. After about 10 minutes of silence, suddenly, the voice of the emperor was heard. The curtain lifted, and the king appeared in front of everyone. Everyone present bowed down low in respect. The boy followed suit and bent down. Someone's voice instructed, "Raise your heads. The emperor welcomes you." All the people stood up, hands folded, and the boy did the same. Suddenly, the same voice spoke again. "Citizens, the emperor has called you here because 3 days ago the emperor had a dream. In the dream, while resting in his palace, the bedside lamp began speaking to him. The lamp said, 'O king, what is the use of your kingdom if you do not have a talking lamp? A talking lamp can ease your pain and troubles.' Upon hearing this, the emperor woke up, and since then he has not had a moment of peace. He will not rest until the talking lamp is brought to him. Where to find it he does not know, and how it can be obtained he has no idea." The man paused and continued, "Whoever brings the talking lamp to the emperor will be rewarded with half of the kingdom and the hand of the princess in marriage. With that, everyone was allowed to leave." The people went about their business, but the boy, determined, did not return home. He resolved that he would find the talking lamp and claim half the kingdom along with the princess's hand in marriage. He set off not towards home but towards the city's outskirts. After a while, he found himself at a gate and stepped outside. He had no idea where the path would lead him or where he was going. The few coins he had earned from begging clinked in his pocket. He walked on and on, passing no villages or towns. By the time he reached a forest, it had grown dark. The silence and darkness of the forest scared him, and he began to fear that a wild animal might attack him. To stay safe, he climbed a tree to spend the night. He had barely sat there for half an hour when he heard a distant sound of snorting. The sound grew louder until it reached beneath the tree. He looked down carefully. His eyes had adjusted to the darkness, so he could see clearly. He saw a creature, the size of a cat, sniffing around beneath the tree. He was terrified. He had never seen such a creature before in his life. Suddenly, the creature spat out a glowing ball from its mouth. The ball shone so brightly, it resembled the light of the moon. In its glow, the creature became clearly visible. After spitting out the ball, the creature started looking around, following something into the distance. The boy thought to himself that he should climb down and see what this glowing object was. He quietly descended and reached out his hand to touch the ball, checking if it was warm. Feeling no heat, he quietly took the ball and tucked it into his pocket before climbing back up the tree. As soon as the light from the ball disappeared, the creature swiftly came to the base of the tree and, upon not finding the ball, began head-butting the trunk in frustration. It cried the entire night and left in the morning, heading in a different direction. The boy climbed down from the tree and continued on his way. Whenever hunger struck, he would eat fruits from the forest or drink water from streams. After walking all day, he found himself in the forest again as night fell. He climbed up a tree and sat down. Around midnight, he heard one animal speak to another, "Tell us something to pass the time." Another animal replied, "I remember an old story. Should I share it?" "Yes, tell us. What else is there to talk about?" The other animals replied. And so the storyteller began, "This happened 1,000 years ago, when a magician lived beneath the mountain of Kaf. He was such a powerful magician that all the other magicians began to worship him. Using his magic, he created two things, a talking candle and a magic ball. The talking candle could speak everything that had been said before, and could tell the history of anything you asked about. It was truly an extraordinary creation." The animals, intrigued, asked, "And what was special about the ball?" The storyteller continued, "The ball could glow like the moon and illuminate far into the darkness. The person holding the ball would be protected from magic and could understand the language of animals. If faced with demons or spirits, no one could defeat the one holding this magic ball. Additionally, if someone crossed a river, the ball would transform into a boat to help them cross, and once they reached the other side, it would return to being a ball." The animals then asked, "And what happened to the magician?" "Ah, I almost forgot to mention," the storyteller replied. "When the magician was about to die, he used his magic to create a garden and placed the talking candle in it to keep it safe. He made sure no one could ever find it. As for the garden, it's located thousands of miles away, beneath Kaf. Along the way, there are 2 rivers with no bridges or boats to cross them. There are also realms of demons and spirits. It would be nearly impossible for anyone to get there unless they had the magic ball and were courageous enough to face the dangers." The storyteller paused and continued. "The magician raised a creature, a shishandar, a small animal, and fed it enchanted food, making it grow to the size of a large cat. He then made it spit out the glowing ball. During the day, the shishandar would wander, and at night it would spit out the ball and hunt under its light, swallowing whatever it caught." The animals finished their story, just as the first light of dawn spread across the sky, and they flew away. The boy, who had listened carefully, understood that this was the same magic ball he had found, and the talking candle was somewhere on the Kaf mountain. Determined, he climbed down from the tree and continued on his journey. As he walked, he came across a village where the people seemed very distressed. He asked them what was wrong, and they explained that a demon came to the village every 8 days and ate one person. Today was the demon's day to arrive, so everyone was hiding in fear. The boy assured them, "Do not worry, I will defeat the demon on my own." Saying this, he went to the spot where the demon usually arrived and waited. Around the area were piles of bones, the remains of people the demon had devoured. After waiting a few minutes, a large demon, dark in color with enormous teeth, descended from the sky and stood before the boy. The demon growled, "What? My first meal today is so small. What will I gain from this?" The boy, confident that he had the magic ball in his pocket, replied boldly, "Stop talking and fight me first. Then you can think about eating me." The demon laughed at the boy's words and reached out to grab him. Seeing this, the boy took hold of the demon's finger and struck it with such force that the demon's fingers broke. The demon screamed in pain. Now, with his other hand, the demon tried to grab the boy, but the boy grasped it and pulled so hard that the demon's hand came off completely. In agony, the demon realized that the boy might kill him. He fell at the boy's feet and pleaded, "Please don't kill me. I can be of great use to you. Promise me that you will never come to this village again." The boy replied, "Your hands are useless now. What good are you to me?" The demon said, "If you spare my life, I will go to the Solomon Spring and bathe. My hands will be healed instantly." The boy considered it for a moment and said, "All right, I forgive you, but remember, if you ever return here, I will deal with you." The demon expressed his immense gratitude and said, "Wait here, I will go and bathe. If you want to go anywhere, I will get you there in no time." The boy agreed and sat down to wait. Meanwhile, the villagers, seeing him alive, came to thank him profusely. He reassured them that the demon would no longer trouble them, and they happily returned to their homes. Soon, the demon returned, fully healed, and said, "Let's go. Where do you wish to go?" The boy replied, "I need to go to Calf Mountain." The demon said, "I have no problem with you traveling, but along the way there are kingdoms of demons and jinn. How will you pass through them?" The boy answered, "Take me to the demon kingdom. Once I defeat them, we can continue." The demon said, "I will hide there. When you call for me, I will be ready to assist you." With that, the demon flew the boy up into the sky. After flying for several hours, they arrived at the entrance to a fortress. The demon said, "This is the stronghold of the demon kin. Their rule begins from here. I must leave now." With that, the demon departed. As the boy approached the fortress, a massive dust storm rose and a giant demon emerged, attacking the army single-handedly. The demon's attack was so powerful that the entire army fled in fear. Seeing this, the boy advanced and said to the demon, "You are fighting the weaklings here. If you are so brave, why don't you fight me?" The demon laughed at the boy and said, "You are nothing to me. I don't even consider these demons worthy of my attention." "Why are you trying to fight me?" The boy responded, "Stop boasting and face me, if you're really so brave." Angered by the boy's words, the demon lunged at him. The boy punched the demon so forcefully that it staggered and fell to the ground, blood pouring from its nose. Seeing their comrade defeated, the other demons rushed to bind the fallen demon with chains and dragged it into the fortress. The demon king emerged from the fortress, greeted the boy warmly, and thanked him. "If I can be of any service, let me know," the king said. The boy replied, "I don't need anything except a letter from you to ensure that no one in your kingdom will stop me." The demon king immediately wrote the letter and handed it to the boy. The boy then called for his demon companion, who quickly appeared. The boy climbed onto the demon's shoulder, and they set off. After flying for about an hour, the boy pointed out, "See that river ahead? I can't take you across, but I can cross it on my own." The boy said, "Don't worry, you fly above, and I'll walk through the river." With that, the boy took the magic ball from his pocket and tossed it into the river. Instantly, the ball transformed into a boat. The boy sat on the boat, which sped across the river. After traveling all day, the boat reached the shore. The boy stepped off the boat and pulled it out of the water, where it immediately turned back into a ball. Just then, the demon arrived and said, "I will carry you, but all you will see is darkness. How will we navigate this path?" The boy replied, "Don't worry, just fly." The demon obeyed, and after an hour they reached an area where there was no visibility. The boy took out the magic ball, and its light illuminated the surroundings. The demon continued to fly until they reached a place where the first rays of sunlight appeared on the horizon. The demon paused and said, "This is where the path to the Jinn kingdom begins. Now, I will hide." The boy replied, "You may go now," and began moving forward. He had hardly taken a few steps when several Jinn captured him and took him to their king, who was hunting in the forest. Upon seeing the boy, the king of the Jinn asked, "Are you a human? How did you get here?" The boy responded, "Humans can do anything and go wherever they want." The Jinn king said, "If humans can do anything, then all of our Jinn are trapped in a terrible plight. Can humans help us get out of it?" The boy immediately said, "Yes, we can help. Tell me what the problem is." The king explained, "For a year, a strange bird has been attacking us. This bird is so large that we've never seen one like it. It has the head of a human and the body of a bird. When it attacks, we fall unconscious because of its song. As it sings, we become hypnotized, and it injures us with its claws. Every month, this bird comes and harms us. Do you have any way to stop it?" The boy asked, "When is it due to arrive?" The Jinn king replied, "It should come tomorrow morning. All of us, Jinn, will stay locked in our homes and not come out." The boy said, "I will go outside tomorrow." The Jinn took him to their city and treated him with great hospitality. The next morning, the boy saw that every Jinn had locked themselves in their homes, and the city looked completely deserted. The boy stepped outside and saw a massive black storm coming towards the city. Upon closer inspection, he realized that the storm was not just an ordinary wind, but the strange bird the Jinn king had described. The bird flew straight towards the city and began circling above. Seeing the empty city, the bird's face showed signs of anger. It immediately swooped down to attack the boy, who was alone outside. The boy calmly said, "Wait, I want to ask you something," but the bird ignored him and attacked with its claws. The boy, protected by the magic ball in his pocket, was unharmed. After exhausting all its attacks, the boy said, "Have you had your fill of attacking me? Now tell me, why do you attack this place every week? What have the people here done to you?" One of the birds, apparently their leader, spoke up. "The people of this land captured 2 of our children and imprisoned them. These children belong to the king of the birds. We are here to demand their release, and we hold no grudge against these people." The boy replied, "I will investigate this for you." He then went to the palace of the Jinn king and knocked on the door. The royal servants hesitated, but opened the door and let him in, quickly closing it behind him. The boy went straight to the king and said, "Your people have captured 2 of the king of the birds' children, which is why this bird attacks here." The king, surprised, said, "I didn't know anything about this. I will look into it." After the king investigated, it was discovered that his youngest daughter had caught the bird children and hidden them in a trap under a mountain, imprisoning them in a cage. The boy freed the children from the cage and brought them outside. Upon seeing their children, the birds were overjoyed. The boy said, "The Jinn King apologizes. His daughter captured these children without knowing that they belonged to you. In any case, ask the children if they were treated badly during their time with us." The bird children confirmed that they had not been harmed. Thus the birds, satisfied, said, "Now everything is peaceful. We will never attack again." After they left, the boy conveyed their message to the Jinn King, who was very happy. He said, "If I can do anything for you, let me know." The boy replied, "Please, do me a small favor. Help me cross your borders." The Jinn King said, "Beyond these borders lies a river that connects to Kaf. Go now." At his command, the Jinn ordered one of their own to take the boy to the river. Immediately, a Jinn transported the boy on a platform to the river. When they reached the river, the boy called for the demon, and he immediately appeared. The boy said, "You cross the river alone. I will join you in the boat." The demon agreed and soared into the sky. Meanwhile, the boy took out the magical orb, which transformed into a boat. He climbed into the boat and made his way to the river. After crossing, he took the orb out again, and it turned back into its original form. By then, the demon had also arrived, and since it was getting late, they decided to rest on the riverbank. The next morning, when the boy opened his eyes, he saw a massive mountain ahead with no visible path. He woke the demon, who said, "This is the Kaf Mountain. There is no way to climb it, but I can take you to the garden planted by the magician. I will wait outside, as I cannot enter. I've heard that only someone with a magical orb can enter safely, without being harmed." The boy responded, "That's fine." So the demon lifted the boy onto his shoulder and flew up to the summit, which was broad and had a garden with a closed gate. The demon said, "I've heard that anyone with the magical orb can walk through this place without being harmed. Hold the orb in your hand and proceed. I will stay outside." The boy took the orb in his hand and reached the gate, which had a large lock on it. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the orb, resembling a key, and it turned the lock. The gate opened. Upon entering, the boy saw 2 iron men standing with bows and arrows. The iron men shot arrows at him, but a beam from the orb hit the arrows, burning them to ashes. The same beam turned into a flame that struck the iron figures, causing them to burn. The boy moved forward, and he noticed that the garden was full of various flowers. The fragrance was so intoxicating that it made him drowsy. Suddenly, the orb emitted flames, burning the flowers and jinns around him. As the boy continued forward, everything in the garden burned away. Eventually, he reached the center of the garden, where there was a marble fountain with a talking candle. The voice said, "Pick up the talking candle and place it on your back." The boy did as instructed, and as soon as the candle was removed, a loud noise filled the air, as if thousands of people were screaming. When the smoke cleared, the boy found himself standing on empty ground, with the demon trembling in front of him. The boy reassured the demon and placed the candle on his back, feeling satisfied. They both retraced their steps, and soon the boy entered his homeland. He bid the demon farewell and entered the royal palace. At the palace, soldiers led him to the king, who was in the midst of a trial. The case being discussed was about 2 claimants of a diamond. Each person claimed that the diamond belonged to them, but neither had any witnesses, and both swore on their claims. The king, puzzled, was about to make a decision when he saw the boy and asked, "Who is this boy, and what brings him here?" The boy replied, "Your Majesty, I have brought you the talking candle." The king laughed, skeptical, and said, "So, you brought the talking candle? Where is it?" The boy took the candle from his back and handed it to the king. It seemed like an ordinary candle, and the king asked, "What proof do you have that this is a talking candle?" The boy responded, "Your Majesty, let me light it, and it will also resolve your case." The king, curious, agreed. The boy lit the candle and said, "Oh, talking candle, reveal the nature of the case before the king." The candle spoke loudly and clearly. "There are two claimants to a diamond. Both swear they own it, but neither has any witnesses. Is this not true, Your Majesty?" The king nodded, and the candle continued. "The decision is this. You should divide the diamond in half and give each claimant a portion." At this, one claimant quickly said, "No, no, I withdraw my claim. Please give the diamond to him. It is of no use to me." The talking candle replied, "Your Majesty, the diamond rightfully belongs to the one who did not withdraw. The other person, who is not the rightful owner, is merely concerned about losing the money he spent on it." The king, pleased with the decision, smiled and said, "As promised, I will give you my entire kingdom." He also arranged for the boy to marry his daughter.